Hello everyone, my name is Fayaz Khan Sahil and today we're gonna learn about transport of plant. Before going to understand the transport, how plant transport, how water and minerals travel, right? Before that, let's look at a diagram. Let's look at this diagram. Let me zoom out a little bit. As you can see, this is a structure of root hair, root cell, right? We have ribosome, which is used for protein synthesis, as you all know. Mitochondria, you guys should know about it. It is used for ATP production. Nucleus, which contains genetic materials, mostly DNA for plant. There is no RNA as a genetic material for plant. We have cytoplasm. We have vacuole. Vacuole play a key role for water movement. I will explain it later, little bit later. We have root hair, our fundamental concept for today. We have cell wall, cell membrane. We all know the function of cell wall and cell membrane. Let's look at this diagram very carefully. This is a diagram of root. Okay, as you can see, root are actually found just behind the tip of a root. Root here just a cytoplasmic extension or a thin extension of epidermal cell. As you can see, this is zone of maturation. This thing mature, this thing zone of elongation and zone of cell division. Interesting thing you will see at the cap or root cap. As you can see at the cap, there is no root hair cell. So what is the function of root hair cell? You guys should able to answer it. The function of root hair cell is to absorb water, as you guessed it, and minerals ion. Plant needs several mineral ion to survive. So this is the main function of root hair cell. Let's look at a diagram how water actually enter the root hair cell. What is cell sap, by the way? Cell sap, as you can see, the fluid that is found inside the large central vacuole. Large central vacuole, the fluid that is found in the large center vacuole. So how the water actually move, right? The water actually move by osmosis. Okay, osmosis. This process doesn't require energy. No energy required. Remember that thing. So for osmosis to happen, the water has to move from a higher potential to the lower potential. So here come the interesting part. If you look at the cell sap, this is a root, right? This is a structure of a root. Let's focus on this part. Let us focus on this part. This is the vacuole. I don't know, this doesn't seem right. The texture of this color doesn't seem right. By the way, I don't know where you guys are from. Please write that down in the comments section. And as you guys know, I'm really new to the YouTube thing, so don't judge me, stay with me. I would love to teach you guys because I'm very fascinated about biology. Let's look at this thing, the cell sap. The cell sap, interesting thing part about it, it is more concentrated. Okay, the cell sap is more concentrated. So if the cell sap is more concentrated, what's the point? What will happen? Why do you care if it's more concentrated? here the magic actually happen. As it is more concentrated, it has lower water potential. What does potential mean? What does lower potential mean? Lower potential or lower water potential actually mean there are less number of water molecule. Just remember that lower water potential simply mean less number of water molecules present. Isn't this interesting? So now the magic actually happen. As the cell sap is more concentrated, so water will move into the root hair cell by osmosis. Then it will travel toward the center of the root, then into the xylem vessels. Did you guys get it? So now we'll look at adaptation. These are all the diagrams of root hair cell. For your convenience, I have pointed all the diagram of root hair cells. Now we'll look at few adaptation, mostly two. It is long and thin shape. This increases actually the surface area, right? Large surface area means more efficient absorption. Lifespan. Root hair cells are actually short-lived. As they're easily damaged by soil particles. If root is growing through this hard soil, it might get damaged. It's very easy to get damaged. So they are constantly being replaced. Now, the pathway of water through a plant. Now let's look at it. First, the root hair cell, as the cell sap is more concentrated, so water from the surrounding soil particle will move inside the root as it has lower water potential. So water will move from higher water potential to lower water potential, low to lower water potential. Then it will move through the root cortex towards the xylem. Just now we have explained this stuff. Now let's look at absorption. Now let's look at the general description that I have written. Water enter the root by osmosis from soil to cell. Across the root, water move through the cortex, cell to cell or through wall. So water can directly move from, for example, this is the cell to cell, or through, suppose this is the cell. By the way, this is cell wall. Let's draw another cell. Let's draw this cell. Sorry. This need to be connected. Cell doesn't have this much gap. Cell are very aligned with one another. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now the interesting part actually happens. Now what will happen is that water will travel through these cell walls. Okay, then another cell. So water directly move from cell to cell or travel through the cell wall. Water rises through the xylem vessels like a straw. Lower pressure at the top and higher pressure at the root. So what does this mean? For example, these will be explained very easily. For example, this is a plant. These are like roots of a plant. These are like plants. It doesn't look like a plant, but it's fine. So water are constantly being evaporated, right, by evaporation. Okay, as a result, over here there is low water potential than the xylem. Xylem has higher water potential. Xylem has higher water potential. As a result, it has higher water potential, it has lower water potential. Thus, it has lower pressure. You can say also in pressure term, right? It has lower pressure, it has higher pressure. So, water will move from higher pressure, to this lower pressure. This is very simple. What is the water being used? Other than that, water are used in photosynthesis, as we all know, cooling and keeping the cell turgid. That is also where the water are being used. So a cell can pull up hundreds of liters of water every single day without using any pump. So over here in our house we are using motors, right? We are using motors for pumping, but trees, as you can see, pull up hundreds of water from the soil every single day without even using any pump. Now let's look at another interesting topic, which is transpiration. Transpiration is simply the loss of water vapor from the leaves of a plant. Most of this happens through a tiny hole known as stomata. So for example, in the leaf, basically the water vapor are being evaporated every second or every minute, mostly seconds, okay? Water vapor are being evaporated and they are passing through a hole known as stomata. Stomata look like something like this. Water molecules are just passing through this hole. So this is transpiration. Inside the mesophyll cell, so how come, what does this water are actually coming from that are being evaporated? Cells have several layers. For example, this is palisade layer. These are like palisade layer. There is mesophyll layer like this, okay, but much smaller. So as you can see, these are like mesophyll layer. So water are actually found on the surface of this mesophyll layer. Water are being found on the surface of this mesophyll layer. This moisture are evaporated into the air. This moisture are actually evaporated from the surface of this mesophyll cell into the air. Then this water actually diffuse through this stomata. The stomata I have seen you guys, right? The water then transfer through the stomata. Now let's look at transpiration stream. This is our final concept. Transpiration stream is actually the continuous movement of water from the roots to the leaf. So there is a continuous flow of water from the roots to the leaf. In the leaf, water moves into the mesophyll cell by osmosis, then it actually evaporated into the air space, then the water actually diffuse out through the stomata. This loss of water vapor, right? This loss of water vapor actually creates a low pressure at the top of the xylem. The leaf also are connected, they also have xylem vessels. Like at the top of this xylem, it has lower pressure, causing a pull upward from the root. This suction force is known as transpiration pull and drive the transpiration stream. Let's look at this. So transpiration stream is a continuous flow of water and transpiration pull is a suction force that actually move the water from higher pressure to the lower pressure. So first the water is lost from the leaf by transpiration, then water entered the leaf from the xylem by osmosis. Water is drawn up from the xylem in a column due to the force of cohesion between the water molecule. Water then entered the xylem vessel into the root by osmosis. Did you guys got it? This is a very simple diagram. First, the water is being evaporated by transpiration and the water vapor are lost through the stomata. The water that is actually found on the surface of mesophyll cell where the water being evaporated. So these create a lower pressure at the xylem at the top of the leaf. As a result, water are drawn from the higher pressure to the lower pressure, and the stream of water is known as basically transpiration stream. And the force that is provided is actually the suction force that is provided is actually the transpiration pull. Thank you so much guys for listening to this lecture. I hope you guys are doing really well. I'm really new to the YouTube thing. I hope you guys understand, and let's see you guys in the next class. Bye bye.